Thank you, Rayanne, for inviting me to call in. After Chris and Kristen's previous bar science episode about specific gravity, I thought I would talk this week about my technical specialty, casting and solidification. Generally, I have worked with higher temperature materials such as aluminum, gold, or uranium. Today, however, I want to talk a little bit about ice. Yep, solidified water. And specifically how we can apply the same techniques used to make titanium turbine blades to create beautiful clear ice. Now, I'm sure that everyone has used traditional ice cube trays like this one. They work perfectly fine for most general ice applications. But since we drink first with our eyes, should our cocktails and spirits not also look beautiful? Here's the challenge. All liquids, molten metals and water both, have some amount of gas dissolved in them. You can see this in the bubbles that start to form before your pasta water boils. There's no room in the atomic structure of solids for that gas, so when liquids start to freeze, it pushes that gas out. If we take our traditional ice tray, all 6 sides of this cube allow heat in the liquid to be transferred out into the freezer air. This creates solidification that begins on all these surfaces and slowly grow towards the center of the cube. The issue is that all the original gas that was dissolved in the liquid gets pushed towards the center of the cube where it gets entrained in the last water to solidify and creates cloudy ice, like this. One way the internet proposes to fix this is to get rid of the gas before we start our solidification process. Use filtered water, use double boiled water. Interesting ideas. Now, I've experimented with all of these in the past several weeks, and I still find that I get cloudy ice. Yes, the amount of cloudiness varies, but I'm still not getting the crystal clear ice that I want. So I turned to a technique that I have used to make all manner of interesting metal castings in my career, directional solidification. The idea is that instead of allowing your molten material to freeze from all directions, we try to force it to solidify from only one direction. In our case, this means that we want to drive the solidification through the water and force the gas out into an area where it will not be entrained in our final product. About 100 years ago, the Japanese invented a machine that has a very cold chill plate to suck the heat down through the bottom of an ice cube and make clear ice. It worked well, but these machines are expensive, temperamental, and not practical for home use. So what if instead we insulated 5 of the 6 sides of our ice mold and draw the heat from only the top surface and solidify downward? Now this will take a little more time and it will take more freezer space than traditional ice trays, but I think we will like the results. So I dug around and I found this old cooler, insulated on 5 sides, open on the top. I did not want to create one huge ice block, so I divided up the molten water with some PVC sections that I had lying around from some previous culinary experiments. Now, you don't want to fill the mold more than half full since we want to keep the sides insulated well, but you pop it in the freezer and wait. I found that the optimum time for good solidification was about 24 hours. Now, we do not want the entire volume to freeze. We want there to be liquid in the bottom of the mold so that the gas that's being pushed out during solidification can be received in that area. Otherwise, there will be cloudy ice at one end of your solidified casting. Now, when I pulled it out of the freezer, I used a little hot water to release the casting from the mold, and I subdivided the individual segments. I think the results are very good. Lovely, clear ice cylinders. These will look beautiful in a transparent cocktail, almost disappearing from view. Now, most bourbon connoisseurs are quite fond of ice spheres. Spheres are great for cocktails since they have the lowest surface area of any geometric shape. This means that they will melt slower in your glass and reduce the dilution of your cocktail by the ice. Clear spheres can also be made with directional solidification. For this, there are some commercial products that use much better engineered and more refined molds than my experiments, but do in fact use the solidification techniques I have presented here. You insulate 5 sides, freeze from the top down. I think the results speak for themselves. a beautiful, defect-free casting. Now, I very much hope that this moment of science can help buoy spirits in these uncertain times. Nostrovia!